afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of The Outside Noise. I am going to be your host today, Taylor Hodges with HottyToddy.com, and it's Wednesday, right? Yeah, Wednesday afternoon. There's a lot going on in terms of some recruiting. We got some spring football going on. Both of the men and women's basketball transfer portals are open, and as predicted, there's a lot of players entering it on both for men and women's side of things. But we're also starting to get some of our first commitments, so we'll talk about that. We also got a little bit of Ole Miss baseball to talk about. There's the game against Alcorn State Tuesday night, and so yeah, and then we got there's another little fun story that I saw that I'll share with y'all at the end. But yeah, so let's just hop right into it. All right, so we'll start with talking a little bit about Ole Miss baseball. Now, there's not a whole lot to really say about the game last night against Alcorn State. Ole Miss did what it was supposed to do. In this game, they were supposed to win by 10 runs, win comfortably. Alcorn State, all due respect, only has 7 wins total this season. So that should give you a little idea of, just the difference in talent levels between these two teams. What you didn't want to see from Ole Miss is basically what happened to LSU on Tuesday night, where they lost at home to Bethune-Cookman. So, again, there's some good things, some clutch hitting. As clutch as the hitting in a game like this can be, they were able to get the run rule in effect by the end of the 7th inning. So, that's I guess a type of clutch hitting. But really, it's just you coming in, you're checking the box, you get the win, and you maybe have some good feelings, some confidence built up headed into what's now a top 25 matchup, but only because there's not going to be a ranking update between now and Friday. I'm sure if there was, LSU would get dropped out of the top 25 by every major poll. Losing. I don't know what the problem is with LSU this year. That's just you just won a national championship and you're coming out you lost to Nicholls State earlier this season, and now you're losing to Bethune-Cookman. I understand it's midweek games and they were, kind of don't mean much. You're not putting your best pitchers out there. Ole Miss certainly didn't. No offense to Grayson Gibson, who looked really, really good in his start yesterday. But Ole Miss didn't put its best pitchers out there either. So you don't want to read too much into LSU losing to Bethune-Cookman, but wow. So that's all. That series will be starting on Friday. And we'll talk more about that in the tomorrow. All right, so like I said, we got some commitments starting to be made to Ole Miss out of the women's transfer portal. I haven't seen anything on the men's side other than I think it's the numbers at 5 or 6 players entering or have entered the transfer portal. But on the women's side, we do have some commitments. We got the first one earlier today, this Wednesday morning, when Tennessee transfer Talisha Cooper committed to Ole Miss. She's a 6-foot guard, averaged 16 points per game last season, 4.7 rebounds, 3.6 assists, and 2.7 steals per game. That is a great pickup right there in and of itself. I think she's probably going to be more of your point guard. And can she be next season's Cotie McMahon? That transfer to come in and win SEC Newcomer of the Year in their first season. Or even maybe something even bigger than that. Maybe that the numbers, and she did it playing for Tennessee. So you got the SEC schedule. Tennessee's one of the marquee women's college programs, so they get some more marquee big spotlight game type matches. So I think that's a great pickup for Coach O and the Rebels. But we also got a second commitment from Emily Howard, a 6'5" forward. Now, she's coming from Boise State, where she didn't play a whole lot last year. She only averaged about 7 minutes a game, 2.4 points per game, and then 1.8 rebounds per game on a very limited playing time schedule. Before her time at Boise State, she was at Liberty, where she played more and had more production. Not sure. Honestly, I just saw the commitment before starting to do this video, because I was like, well, let me just double check to make sure we haven't gotten any more commitments come in that I just haven't seen yet. So I'm not sure. I don't think it was an injury or anything like that. I didn't see anything that said that. So we'll just go ahead and say maybe. I mean, it just might have been, it could be for a million different reasons. So we're not going to speculate on that, but we just do know she is headed to Ole Miss, and she does fill a need where, Ole Miss is losing Latasha Lattimore and Christine Awula, and they're going to need more inside post players to kind of replace the production of what was two of the three most important players for this Ole Miss team last season. So I think that'll be a good pickup. There'll be a lot more to come still. There's still a lot of roster spots to fill. But yeah, we may have gotten next year's Cotie McMahon already committed to Ole Miss, and that's great for the program. And then you got a solid post player, which is also something you're going to need to fix. So we'll keep tabs on that. I think on the men's side, we finally did get official word that Corin Johnson is going to be entering the transfer portal, so he won't be returning to Ole Miss. And I think that's kind of leaves maybe James Scott and Travis Perry, I believe, as the only players with remaining eligibility that haven't announced one way or the other what they're doing. I don't have that list in front of me, so I might be missing somebody or forgetting about somebody. But we know Patton Pinkins is coming back, and Elias Carmodine are coming back as well. So yeah, that's kind of just a quick men's update side. All right, so the last thing I wanted to just kind of bring to y'all's attention out there was a report I saw from Yahoo Sports' Ross Dellinger. Now he's their college football reporter. He's great at what he does. He's kind of one of those. He's on the list of reporters that when they report on something, you can pretty much take it to the bank. So that's why. So I say that to just give some credence to the report that I saw, because it is kind of a big deal. So the NCAA, it has a proposal that they're going to bring to their the rules committee or whatever branch of the NCAA that makes these decisions. I think it said next week. And it's a proposal that would change the eligibility rules for all college athletes. And the way it's laid out and described is that all college athletes would have 5 years of eligibility, starting from their 19th birthday. So when they turn 19, or graduating high school, whichever one comes earlier. That once that event happens, that triggers the 5-year clock, and then you have 5 years to play. Call it whatever college sport it is you're going to play. And additionally, there won't be any waivers or exceptions made for this rule. Outside of, I think I'm just going to read directly, a small group of outliers, like maternity leave, military service, or religious missionary work, things like that could delay, I guess, the start of that 5-year eligibility clock. But also, this proposal would eliminate the ability to keep an addition. Basically, this proposal will get rid of the redshirt season and the injury waiver, medical redshirt, whatever term you want to use there. Basically, no more red shirts. You have 5 years. If you play, you play. If you don't, you don't. Type of situation. And that's, yeah. It was also noted in the story that this predated the executive order that came out last week or the week before. I can't remember exactly. But this is obviously something like with the NCAA. They can't just create something one day and get it passed. The organization, it doesn't work like that. It's much of a slower moving process. So I think that this proposal has been in the works, and it would settle. I think not settle. That's the wrong word to use. It would end a lot of the legal courtroom battle stuff that we see, like with Trinidad Chambliss going to court to get a preliminary injunction against the NCAA, so that basically it gives him another year of eligibility to play football. And whether right or wrong, not for me to decide. He was right, but yeah. So this proposal would eliminate things like that, and I think overall that's okay. That's fine. I think college sports is. I'm very much a pro player in this regard. Hey, transfer as much as you want. If you think that's a great idea, go get the biggest bag possible. Make as much money as you can, and while you can, because nothing is guaranteed tomorrow. So that's why I'm kind of like, but at the same time, you can't stay in college forever. So do have to have some limits on it, unfortunately. But a lot of the players that we're talking about going to get a bag at another school every season, which is, hey, if that's what you think is best for you, all the more power to you. You can't just keep doing that over and over. So you do get a limit here with this proposal. If I'm not a betting man, but I would imagine that this will probably get passed, and then it just becomes a question of how do you implement it. You can probably get it implemented for the next academic year, so the fall of later this year and the fall of 2026, but then also there's going to be a lot of questions about what about the current athletes who are who started college in this current system, whose eligibility would be impacted by this decision. So that's probably gonna be the major thing to look out for in regards to this. So, all right, so that's gonna do it for today. It's pretty short, sweet, to the point today. We'll be back tomorrow to kind of preview the Ole Miss baseball series against LSU, which I still can't believe it's happened. What LSU is the way it is this year, but hey. You got a national championship, so I guess you can't be too mad about it, right? But anyways, we'll get to all that tomorrow. I'm Taylor Hodges with HottyToddy.com. This has been The Outside Noise. I hope you have a good rest of your Wednesday, evening, night. If you watch this Thursday, just whatever time you happen to be watching this, I hope you have a good morning, afternoon, evening. Be safe out there, and we will talk to you later.